What's up, y'all? I'm gonna show you the exact banks, the places I look for, and how to retrieve the bait. That's the color we're gonna use today. Today I'm gonna be throwing the smoke purple one. I know we've talked a lot about the design and the way why I designed it the way I did and all of those things, but now it's time to actually put it out here on the water to show you how to fish it, where to throw it, how to set the hook on it, and we're gonna exaggerate a little bit too, okay? All right, guys, so here's my setup right here. This is my SMH head. Today I'm throwing smoke purple. This worm is 6.5 inches long, but I cut it down a little bit. I know everybody's probably thinking, well, why don't we get a 4.5 inch model? Why don't we get a 5 inch model? Well, if you got enough worm, you can always cut it back. So the fish are probably starting to spawn right now. We got water in the upper 50s, right at 60 degrees. So a lot of them are going to be biting, nipping at the tail. So I just cut it down a little bit. I'm going to show you the kind of banks that I like to fish it, how I like to retrieve it. It's actually, I'm tucked in a cove right now. It's actually pretty windy out here today. So not exactly my most favorite shaky head day, but you can get out of the wind. You might not be able to fish some of the best areas, but you can still get out of the wind. Let's look at what I'm looking for here. So what I'm looking for typically right now, especially in the springtime, I know I'm fishing a lake that has spotted bass in it. And I know what those fish use to transition to spawn and how they kind of stage. It's actually very simple, very predictable. If you look at the bank right here ahead of me, it's kind of steep. Not really a bluff, but it's bluffy, if that makes any sense. It's pretty sharp. I'm setting the boat in anywhere from 16 to 20 foot of water, and within a cast I'm all the way up on the bank. You know, within a cast I can touch the bank. That's pretty much what I want to look for. Anywhere I can, 20 foot and deeper. If I got a little rock on it, primo. I don't know the right term to use for it, but what I'll call it is a jaggedy bank. I got a bite just there. A little jaggedy bank. That's not a big one. We've been catching a lot of these. Early on in the season, you'll catch a lot of fish like this. In about a week or two, maybe even a couple days, they'll start to, some of the bigger fish live out deeper. But these little banks like this, you can see down through here, is fairly steep. Now that's going to depend on what kind of fishery you live on. Sometimes the fisheries, they're going to be, you may have rocks where you live. It may be a straight up bluff where you live. In this particular lake where I'm at, there's no bluffs. There's another bite. Another bite on it. Just trying to show you. So that's not a big one. Like I said, in the next couple days, you'll be surprised how much bigger fish move into these areas. It's a lot of fun. I'm out here with my son Brooks right now, and we're just kind of having fun today. That's all we're doing. Anytime I can just show him some fish, it's a lot of fun, and it's fun for me. Let me not blame it on Brooks. But I'll just go down through here, and the biggest thing that you can remember is to maintain bottom contact this time of the year. Those fish are using the bottom of the lake. When they're spawning, they're on the bottom. Within doubt, do whatever you got to do to get your bait down to the bottom. That is very, very imperative. Keep it on the bottom and don't work it. You see, it probably looks like I'm working this bait really fast. I'm really not. There's a lot of slack in my line, and I'm really just popping it, just trying to make it move without moving it. I'm trying to make it have action, but I'm trying not to move it down the bank. I'm trying not to pull it to me. You want to move that bait just like that. You see how I'm letting it sink to the bottom, and I just pop, pop, let it set, pop, pop, let it set. And where you're waiting on when I'm letting it set is I'm waiting to see that slack in the line when the bait hits the bottom again. That's what I was saying about, you know, on a windy day, it's kind of hard to tell when that bait gets back to the bottom. Now on this shaky head, I only came up with 3 sizes, and there's a specific reason for that. Because somebody was asking me why I didn't have a 3/8 and why there, you know, I could have made 10 different sizes, and somebody would say, well, you needed 12. But there's really only 3 sizes that I feel like I need in a shaky head. I use basically a 1/8, 3/16, and a 1/4. The reason I use those sizes, let me catch this fish first. You use a 1/8, 3/16, and then a oh, that's a little better one, and a 1/4. And just in my opinion, keep in mind, it's my signature bait, so everything I'm telling you is really just my opinion. It's a little bit better spotted bass. Yeah, we got two together now. Yeah, that one's a little bit better. Right there.
This was a big one, Dad.
Some fish schooling right here in front of us.
This is a big one, too.
You got a big one too?
You got a big one, too.
Smoked purple we're throwing. What was I saying? I got interrupted by that fish. Oh, an 1/8, 3/16 and a quarter. And I use 3/16 the most. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't go heavier. The heavier you go with your bait, the bigger line you need. And if you use too big a line with the hook that I use, basically if I would have went any heavier on these shaky heads, I would have had to change the hook as well. So in my opinion, once you get much above, probably you can have a 3/8. I just don't use a 3/8. If you get anything heavier than 3/8, it's really not shaky heading anymore. You got something else. You need a different hook because you're gonna be using bigger line to cast it. If you try to cast like a 1/2 ounce shaky head on 8 or 10 pound test line, you're gonna throw it off. Like that's not a shaky head. Shaky heading is it's a light line deal. I would have liked to have a 16th ounce because there's some situations back before we knew what a wacky rig was where I used to use a 16th ounce little darter head, and there's some situations where a 16th ounce jig head will work great. But there's really, this is the most simple style of fishing. The thing that you want to look for, especially right now, you know, we could go into other times of the year where you look for something different, but right now what you're looking for is these little red clay banks, inconsistent banks. I know everywhere in the country doesn't have red clay. On your body of water, it's going to be the steepest place you can use. Even if you don't have spotted bass, those fish are going to be transitioning and using those little deeper banks to get to shallower water. So look for those shallower banks. I mean, those steeper banks. You're still going to fish shallow. You're still going to be using, they're going to be anywhere from, I would say, as shallow as 5 foot and as deep as 15 foot is where you're going to be fishing. That's going to depend on water clarity. Where I'm fishing today, water clarity is probably about 4 foot, I would have to guess. 3.5, 4 foot. Maintain that bottom contact. And you want to look for the little bit of rock. If you can find a little bit of rock in wherever you're fishing. If you can find, one thing my dad always taught me when I was younger, you know, they're not quite there yet. Any kind of little dark spot, a light spot, a sand spot, where there's little leaves on the bottom, anything that's different, there'll be a fish there. A little bit of rocks. Anywhere the bottom transition from one type to another. That could be from big rocks to little rocks. It could be from sand to clay. It can be from, you know, just whatever. As long as there's a change. It could be a flat spot. This thing could be really shallow, I mean really steep. And then all of a sudden, it swaps to a little flat point. Around that flat point, I guarantee there'll probably be some fish around it right now. All right, I'm gonna work my way through a cast. You can see I got a little steep bank here. What I want to do is cast right to about where I can't see the bottom. You'll notice the water looks kind of greenish, brown, olive looking color. And right where it starts to look red, or you can start to see the bottom, that's about where I want my bait to land. I don't want to throw it all the way up on the bank. There's not going to be any fish up there right now. I don't want to throw it too far deep because the fish really aren't that deep, or the ones that I'm targeting aren't that deep right now. So I'm going to throw it right about where I can't see the bottom. And that bait, as it's sinking, is actually sinking back towards me, okay? So even where I cast it, I'm not fishing right where I cast it initially. I'll let the bait get to the bottom. Let me make another cast and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I'll throw it out, bait gets to the bottom, okay? I'll let it set, click my bail over. Let that set for a second. Okay, now it's on the bottom. I saw the slack. And it's just doop, 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 doop. I make those sound effects because that's the best way to kind of illustrate to you what I'm trying to make the bait do. I'm shaking it and it might look like I'm moving it at a bunch. Just think about when you shake your head, it's called a SMH, right? Shaking my head. Shake your head without moving your legs. That's what I'm trying my best to do, is to make this worm shake without actually making it move forward or backwards. If you can make it move backwards, you're a bad dude. But that's all I'm trying to do with this guy, is just throw it out. And you see, I didn't fish that. I fished that bait about a quarter of the way back to the boat. I threw it right where you can't see the bottom again. You got a lot of pollen on the water here, so it's kind of hard to see it as good as you really want to. And I'll just hit the bottom and just doop doop doop. That's it. Let it go back down. You just watch your line and you'll see some slack. You'll see it stop sinking. Once it stops sinking, let it set for a second or two, and then give it another bop bop. That's it. That's all it is shaky head fishing. Now there's other ways you can fish it. You could put your rod down sort of like this and just kind of pull it, especially for guys that fish out of the back. You can throw it up on the bank and set it in the seat and just kind of pull it along the bottom like that. See, I just got one there. Maybe that's the way I need to be fishing it. I just pulled that one on the bottom. Oh God, well that's a big one. That is a really big one. Yeah, that is a really big one, isn't it, Brooke? Wow. I didn't know we was gonna catch one like that, Brooke. I was dragging it on the bottom. I can't boat flip that one. Well. Who is shaking their heads right now?
We all caught one, Dad.
Yeah, we both got one. Well, you see, that's why that head shape is like the way it is. You can see how that hooked up. You know, I talked about, people laugh at me when I talk about this. I talk about that head shape being a design to where you can pop the head through the fish's mouth, and you see how that hook penetration happened right as soon as the jig head, the head of the bait slipped through his mouth, and I got hook penetration. Now, if I would have never got the head of the bait through the fish's mouth, I might have never hooked up with him. So that's why that head shape is important. That's just as important as the hook. Let's see here. That's a 3.5 pounder right there, y'all. That's a good fish. All right. Now, that goes to show you that, you know, there's a couple different retrieves that you can use to catch fish, and everybody knows that. Like, this is why I like baits like this. There's really, if you want to be honest, there's really not a wrong way to work this guy. The wrong way to work it is the way that you're not getting bit. So it's not really about, oh, you need to shake it 3 times, let it set, shake it 2 times and let it, and make it do the boot, scoop, and boogie. Like, a lot of people want to make it that, but the biggest thing is, how can you work it and get bit? I can't walk you through that. You know, I can't walk you through every step. My dad used to tell me, just some things you got to learn. You know, like, that is frustrating. There's so much information out there on the internet nowadays that I notice that a lot of people want to make this fishing thing like a math equation. And bro, that's not fishing. You just got to figure this out sometimes. I can kind of get you headed in the right direction. If it was just a math equation, what I would do is I'd go to school, I'd learn how to do it, and I'd just go ahead and win every tournament that I entered. That's what I would do. But that's just not how this works. You got to figure it out on the fly and on the day. And then if that's not fun to you, then you're not really into fishing. You're into kind of catching. So, and I'm into both sides. I like catching too. Now, don't get it twisted. I love to come out here and catch fish. That's the whole point of what you're doing. But there's nothing more rewarding than when you come out here and then you figure out how to catch them and you catch them. Now, there's one other thing that you can use this thing around, especially right now. Let me catch this one right here. You can tell it definitely works. You notice I've hooked up on all of them without, I hadn't missed any fish. Oh, well, I just said I hadn't missed one.
We all caught one.
But I said I did miss one. Well, it's not 100% accurate. Let's just say that. Say what, Brooks?
We all caught one.
Yep. But I'll just work my way down through here. I won't work the bait all the way to the boat. I'll work the bait about, I would say maybe halfway back to the boat. No more than 2/3. You just want to keep it in that zone. When you're fishing down through here, you're going to realize what zone the fish are biting in. And once you realize that zone, that hey, they're kind of keying in on that 6-foot range, 6 to 8 foot range. On your body of water, it might be 2 to 3 foot range. It's just going to depend. When you start casting around, you're gonna get bites this time of year. You're not gonna come out here when that water gets in the upper 50s and 60s. I don't care if you're in Wisconsin, Florida, New Mexico, Cancun, the Dominican Republic, Congo, Jamaica. When the water gets in those 60-degree area, they're gonna be biting. Okay, so that's what you're gonna look for. I promise you that's gonna work. Now, there's one more style of bank type of structure that I can guarantee you can catch fish on this SMH right now. and that would probably be points. And I'll show you the kind of points that I like to target early in the season. You can see there's a point right there that I'm coming to. That's the other thing that I like to fish, is little rounded points or secondary points. Brooks is back there having a ball. I like these little secondary points like this. Now this one you can see, God, I got one before I even get there. Yeah, that might be a better one there, Brooks. Yeah, that actually is another good one. That's another good one. Oh wow, that is a really good one. Another largemouth. Don't really, I was been talking about catching spotted bass down here, but you know, I didn't think you caught. I usually don't catch many largemouth on this lake. That's a good one. Let me see if I can grab him. Yeah, yeah, that's a really good one. Look where that, you see that head? Look at the jig head. Right outside of the lip. That thing popped through his mouth and then it hooked him. It stopped. If I had him hooked up here at the top, then the jig head wouldn't be a problem. But he had that jig head totally in his mouth. As soon as the jig head busted out his lip, I got him hooked. Another 3-pounder right there. Might throw that one back, okay? Throw yours out there and catch you one. I got him the SMH on too. Let's throw your rod out there. Let's see if you can catch one. All right, so I was trying to show y'all like the points. I love points. Now let that thing sink a little bit, okay? I'll show you now. You can visually see this point. All right, so sometimes you can't visually see the points. You can see what this looks like on my graph. Let me see if I can get a good angle here. But you see that? You see that little bit of a point right there? Any of those little secondaries like that? Now the main lake point, let's go to my full map here. You got one, Brooks? I think you do got one, babe. Do you? Set the hook, baby. You got one. You got one, Brooks. You got him. You got him. Jerk, jerk, jerk. Do you have one? Or you just hung on the bottom?
On the bottom.
I don't know. I think you got one, Brooks. Jerk, jerk, baby. Jerk. Jerk, jerk. You got him, Brooks. That is a fish. Brooks catching one on the SMH too. Come on, baby. Jerk. Reel, reel, reel. Reel, you got one. Reel. Come up this way and reel. Fast, 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 fast. Reel fast as you can. Oh, man, you making me proud today, buddy. Uh-oh. Is it a big one? Bruce catching one on the SMH. Come on, reel, reel fast as you can. Let me tighten up your drag. Reel fast as you can. You caught one on your own. Look at that. You still got him? Reel, reel fast as you can. Reel it, reel it, reel it. Oh, that's a good one, Brooks. Reel it, reel it, reel it, son. Reel, reel, wind, wind, wind. You got one. Come on, baby, reel. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, man. Yeah, give me 5, buddy. Woo! Good job. He went out there and caught him one while I was trying to show y'all how to catch him on the graph. Good job. Look at that. You caught that by yourself. Good job, Brooks.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Okay, let's take him off, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you throw him back.
Okay.
You caught one on yourself by yourself.
I don't want
You don't want to throw it back?
No.
You don't want to touch it?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta at least get a picture with y'all. Know I'm gonna get a picture with him, with his fish. This is not his first fish, by the way. He's caught 3 or 4 sometime already. I want you to put your thumb in his mouth. He has no teeth. See? Put your thumb right there. I'm gonna show you. Look, nothing. There's nothing there. Look, there's nothing there. I want you to take a picture with him.
No.
Okay. Well, we won't take one then. We won't worry about it. If you don't want to take one, we won't take one. Okay. Well, y'all, what I was trying to show you before Brooks went and caught that fish. Let me get back to my screen here. All right, so you see this? See that little point right there? Those are excellent little places for you guys to throw the shake heads. Now, if you zoom out, you can see the main point would be all the way up here, but this is just a point off the point, a little secondary point, and that's where we're fishing right now. And I've caught a couple right there, so definitely look in these little areas. Now, Brooks, let's make another cast for you.
Okay.
Brooks is actually throwing his little kid caster here. He's just using a little kid caster. He's using green pumpkin goby. And it's a little hard for them to get all the way to the bank, so sometimes I'll throw it out there for them. These little kid rods, I wish they would make one with a gear ratio that is faster. It takes forever for them to reel in. All right, there you go.
Wait, Dad.
All right, let it sink a little bit, okay? All right, so you see, you can visually see this bank, this point right here that we're gonna fish. Sometimes you won't be able to visually see it. These points will have. You got him, Brooks? You got another one?
No.
I don't know, Brooks. I think you got another one. Sometimes you can visually see them, and then sometimes you'll have to use your mapping. I think you got one, bro. Sometimes you have to use your mapping to see these places, but you just need to pay attention. Just watch. You'll look on these steeper banks, and anytime that a steeper bank just flattens out a little bit, that's a point. You know, it might be your boat will be sitting in 20 foot of water, 15 foot of water, and then all of a sudden, as you're going down the bank, it flattens out to, you know, 8 or 9 foot, 5 foot. That's a point. And what you need to do is just take your boat back off and fish it again. That's, you know, just fish off where, you know, get off the bank a little bit and try to be putting your bait in that 5 or 6 foot of water. So thanks for watching that video. That's how I fish the SMH. It's a super easy, simple way to catch fish. Even my 2-year-old can catch fish on the SMH, so you know you can. I also wanted to remind everybody about my online fishing tournament, the Straight Up Spring Fishing Classic. All right, for you guys that want to register for this Straight Up Fishing Spring Classic, this is how you do it. It's super simple, okay? First thing you need to do is download the Fishing Chaos app. That's who we partnered with to run this tournament. They're gonna facilitate the whole thing. Secondly, you'll go to shopbelat.com, my website. The link will be below, and you'll register for the tournament. There's no entry fee for this tournament. All you have to do is make a purchase at shopbelat.com, and then you will receive a passcode. That passcode for making your order, you'll go back to your app, and then you'll register for the tournament within the app. Official rules for this tournament. This tournament is going to be won by inches. It won't be pounds like your traditional tournament. There is some official rules. I'll put those in the link below, and they'll be on my website as well as the Fishing Chaos app. Now, we are going to go by inches, but we're going to go by the biggest inches of your 5 best fish. All right, something else that is very important that you guys need to know for this tournament. You do have to use the official measuring boards that we have linked below. We give you the links where you guys can go and buy the measuring boards. Go to the link below, get the measuring boards, because that's very important in keeping everything equal. When it comes to prizes, the prizes for the tournament, for first place in each tournament, all 3 tournaments, you're gonna win a fishing trip with me on Lake Hartwell. And then we're gonna do 2nd through 5th. 2nd through 5th, we're gonna give you guys tackle prizes from a lot of my sponsors and some custom kits that I'm gonna give you that are well worth over $100 a piece. So you guys are gonna win a lot of tackle in this tournament. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope you guys go register. Let me know. I'm super excited about this Spring Fishing Classic. This is something we put a lot of work into, and I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys fish catches, all right?